Terah, according to biblical testimony, was the father of Abraham. He is first mentioned in the Bible in the book of Genesis, specifically in chapter 11, verses 24 to 32. Beyond being Abraham's father, Terah was also the father of Nahor, Haran, and Sarai. However, the Bible provides very few details about Terah's life. Much of his biography remains unknown. What we do know is that Terah's lineage can be traced back to Shem, the son of Noah. The brief genealogy in Genesis shows that Terah's closest ancestors were Nahor and Serug. Genesis chapter 11 states that Serug lived for 30 years before fathering Nahor. After that, Serug lived for another 200 years and had other children. Nahor, in turn, lived for 29 years before fathering Terah. However, some scholars argue that these genealogies may not be complete. It is possible that the genealogies in Genesis chapter 11 contain gaps, meaning that not every generation is listed. If these records were exhaustive, Shem himself would have been alive during Abraham's lifetime, which suggests that the genealogy may be more representative than chronological, focusing on key figures rather than listing every ancestor. This approach highlights the importance of Abraham's story, which introduces the formation of the people of Israel and the Messianic lineage. Regarding Terah's family, the Bible does not provide the name of his wife, nor does it clarify whether he had additional spouses or concubines. However, it is implied that Terah fathered children with more than one woman. This is evident from the fact that Sarai, later known as Sarah, was Abraham's half-sister by the same father. This suggests that Terah may have had other children who were not mentioned in the Bible, as they were not central to the narrative. The marriage between Abraham and Sarah, his half-sister, should be understood in the context of their time. Such unions were not prohibited by God until the time of Moses, as outlined in Leviticus chapter 18, verses 6 to 18. In addition, Terah's family practiced idolatry, meaning that knowledge of God had not been preserved in their lineage. After the flood, humanity again rebelled against God, as demonstrated by the Tower of Babel episode. The Bible lists Terah's sons in the following order: Abram, later Abraham, Nahor, and Haran. Some scholars believe that despite this order, it is not certain that Abram was Terah's eldest son. Some even suggest that Haran, who was the father of Lot and died before the family moved north, might have been the firstborn. Regardless, by the time Terah was 70 years old, he had fathered all three sons. The Bible also informs us that Terah migrated with his family from the city of Ur toward Canaan. After traveling approximately 800 kilometers, they settled in Haran for a time. Both Ur and Haran were centers of worship for the Sumerian moon god. In the book of Joshua, it is revealed that Terah was an idolater, and Joshua chapter 24, verse 2, mentions that Terah and his ancestors worshipped other gods beyond the Euphrates. This idolatry is reaffirmed when Joshua calls upon the Israelites to choose whom they will serve. The gods their ancestors worshipped were the Lord. Joshua's reference to the gods beyond the Euphrates directly points to the pagan practices of Terah's family. This detail underscores the significance of God's sovereign call to Abraham, who was chosen from a pagan background to enter into a covenant with God. Given this context, some commentators speculate that Terah may have eventually become a worshiper of the true God, particularly after his family left Ur. However, it is difficult to determine whether Terah truly converted, especially since his family settled in Haran, another polytheistic city. The Bible remains silent on Terah's religious beliefs during this period. Terah is mentioned in the New Testament as well, appearing in the genealogy of Jesus. He is also referenced indirectly in Stephen's sermon in Acts chapter 7, verses 2 through 5. In this passage, Stephen recounts how God called Abraham while he was still in Mesopotamia, instructing him to leave his land and family. After Terah's death, Abraham continued to follow God's call, eventually reaching Canaan. Genesis chapter 11, verse 32, states that Terah lived for 205 years and died in Haran. It was only after his death that Abraham continued his journey to Canaan, marking the next chapter in the biblical narrative. Thus, while the Bible provides only a few details about Terah's life, his role as the father of Abraham positions him as a key figure in the early story of Israel.